And so I just want to open up and introduce Ashwin. So to give a quick bio, Ashwin is a junior chemical and biomolecular engineering major student here at Johns Hopkins University. At Hopkins, he's been the president of the South Asian students at Hopkins and is passionate about cultivating a collective space for South Asians at Hopkins to express their culture, their heritage, and their experience across our community. Outside of that, he is currently involved in research with the Department of Ophthalmology, specifically with drug delivery. In his free time, he also loves to tutor and spend time in the Brunswick, just down the way, in conjunction with supporting elementary school students as part of the Remington outreach with the Center for Social Concern. In the future, Ashwin is hoping to get his PhD in targeting diseases that are especially present in APIDA and other minority communities that traditionally do not receive the same attention that you may see in the medical community. So Ashwin is doing a lot of amazing things. Without further ado, if you want to take it away.
Thank you, Keon. Now I'm going to introduce Frank, who will be opening for us. So Frank Bang is a sophomore studying sociology and English here at Hopkins. He's interested in how inequalities, such as gender, sexuality, and race, are produced and reproduced via the side of education. He tries to foster more inclusive dialogues and civic engagement opportunities, especially for students of color in the queer community. He believes that by amplifying voices from minoritized communities and creating arenas for collaboration and deliberation, change can be made. At Hopkins, he's a staff editor, the Johns Hopkins Undergraduate Law Review, and a liaison for the International Council, an active member of SGA APIDA caucus, and serves on the LGBTQIA+ advisory board. With all, please give a round of applause for Frank.
Thank you for your wonderful introduction. I will read the poem that I wrote. It's called Dry Bread, Dry Bed. The first time he left the house, empty stomach, I found a mouth on the carpet, laying dead. The leftover from last night sat alone on the table, like a mouth on the carpet, and me in the bed. Every morning since then, I mourn. For the mouth that died, I've been too busy mourning to notice the bread has dried. When you pack up our love, once and for all, you left. I ate the dry bread and blamed the mouth for that. Thank you. Mike, back to now to introduce our wonderful speaker today.
Thank you, Frank, for the beautiful poem. So now I want to introduce Chen, who is our speaker for today. So Chen is a poet and essayist interested in Asian American history that features family, queer friendship, multilingualism, hybrid texts, humor, and pop culture. His debut poetry collection, When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a List of Further Possibilities, was longlisted for National Book Award and won the A. Pullen Poetry Prize, the GLCA New Writers Award, and the Texas Book Award for Poetry, and the Tom Gunn Award for Gay Poetry. He's received 2 Pushcart Prizes and an NEA Fellowship in Creative Writing. He's also received fellowships and scholarships from Kunneman, Lambda Literary, and Self-Installed Foundation, Sunders Academy for the Arts, and Tent Creative Writing. He was a 2020 as well as a 2015 finalist for the Ruth, Lily, and Dorothy Sargent Rosenberg Poetry Fellowships. He won the 2015 Matt Clark Editor's Choice Award from New Delta Review. He's an alumnus of Syracuse University, where he was a University Fellow and holds a PhD in English and Creative Writing from Texas Tech University, where he received a J.T. Margaret Talkington Fellowship and won the Warren S. Walker Award for Press Critical Writing. He currently teaches creative writing at Rhinebeck University as a Jacob Siskind Poet in Residence. Without further ado, please welcome Chen.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Just, podium's me. Basically the size of this podium, so I will do my best. Thank you all for being here. Really excited and honored to be sharing some poems with you. So I'm going to start with this poem. My friend Monica Sook, who's a Cambodian American writer, and she has this amazing first book called The Nail That Evening Hangs On. But this is a new book, it just came out in the Paris Review. So I'll start with this, and I'll read one other poem by another Asian American writer that I really admire, and whose work and friendship has meant a lot to me over the years. So this is Long Life by Monica Sook. Often I have knelt beside her as she lay on the white leather sofa, repeating to herself, maybe one day I die soon. All my life I've heard this and watched her continue living. She is here now with a cleaver, tenderizing meat. She squats on the kitchen floor and pounds the flesh. Today she needs my help, points me to the stone mortar. Heaviness is how she crushes garlic and lemongrass into paste, shallots, and galangal. I wrap my hand around the pestle, and in this moment, I wish my mother were singing. Were she singing, she would have no pain. I wish she had 3 hearts, that only one was hard. If she had 3 hearts, she would live a long life. She would be saying, maybe I have a long life. So I actually just got to see Monica. She's in the Boston area where I'm based. And she read this poem at this event that was honoring the life and work of Anthony Vyasno. He's a Cambodian American fiction writer who passed away suddenly at the end of 2020. His debut collection of stories, After Parties, came out posthumously, so he didn't get to see his first book in the world. His stories are with us, and he's very much involved in stories, so it's great to be part of that celebration. Also, if you ever read this poem of hers. So turning to some of my own work, I always decide last minute to read something different. So this is a poem that's in 6 short parts, and it was published in 2 different places. So like going between websites. So see how this goes. This is called Holiday, and you probably have seen like you can get them at Asian supermarkets, Chinese supermarkets, like calendar. The dates are like really big, and you can barely write anything in them. But my mom was always on those calendars, and every time I go home, she has like the whole family's like doctors and dentist appointments and like title change. It's like this calendar in the kitchen. So that's kind of central to what this poem is about. Holiday. 1. God wants to eat fish, whole steamed fish with the smallest bones. God says, is not afraid of bones. 2. The ghosts are waiting for December to end, for the calendar on the kitchen wall to be done, just done, like a good steak. The ghosts want to lick the months, the days, each glossy morsel of time. Some of them sigh, ask, why keep waiting? And those who know respond, the taste. It only tastes right when you have the holy fat of the whole year. 3. The mother has planned. She has stood at the calendar and penned in every dentist, hair, doctor, hair appointment, every can't miss work party, the truly can't miss common supermarket trips, the 2 brief breaks, birthdays, the return dates for books, return trips of sons. The calendar, from common with the familiar red and gold, goldeny reds. And this time pigs, for the year of the pig, dancing and sewing harmony in an impressive range of outfits. The planning, English, Chinese, whichever words come first, but all printed, penned, not penciled. Cursive is for correspondence, and pencil, actually, she never uses pencil. With her calendars, she inks every word slowly. She composes every stroke or letter as though considering how best to invent it, than inventing it. She does it so well, what weather, God, or sun would contradict her plans? Who could? 4. The junk drawer keeps sliding out like a ravenous tongue and always growing vocabulary of pens, buttons, sticky notes, somehow sticky receipts. And in the middle of it all, one long, introverted, black hair who's overwhelmed. 5. God shouts, more bones, the flavor is in the bones, and the skulls called from the sea. The ghosts shout, more days, more salt and tame days, more ferociously sweet nights, however brief. The mother shouts, no more buttons in this drawer, no more shirt buttons, coat buttons, buttons from abroad, buttons from our other country, buttons previously thought only a myth. We have enough. The junk drawer shouts, no, never enough of any button. This last part was published in different place. So this is part 6. The mother stands at the kitchen sink. Knife in gloved hand, she removes the fish scales with the discipline of her calendar, with the swiftness of her cursive. Her gloves are yellow rubber, the left hand rediscovered in the far end of the junk drawer. The fish sheds silver, which glints in the light pouring through the kitchen window, pouring, though it is late, December. She has gotten up early, even earlier than God, who delegates sunrise to some other celestial being or worker like her. She can't remember the Chinese name for this fish, and the English always seemed unsuitable, unbeautiful. Still in English and on her calendar for this morning, make fish. Then in Chinese, the name of the son whose flight has just ended. The other 2 are back already, asleep still, like their father. Meanwhile, the fish scales, they seem to leap from fish to sink, to shed themselves, though it is the mother who has written their fate. They clatter into her kitchen sink, little sliding gleams, small chattered ghosts, gods. She whispers, goodbye. She is not afraid to say it, because it means another good meal, chance to gather. Today, goodbye means more, to hold on the tongue, to taste. So this next one, so that's a newer poem. I thought it was going to be in this second book that's coming out this fall, but I think it's going to be for something else. So I'm going to read a couple from the new book, and then just one from the first book. So this poem, it's in kind of a funny form, so really like restrictive form, where you can only use certain letters. So this came out of an assignment I had in grad school, where the professor challenged us to write a poem using only letters from your name. And I thought this was like a really cool, interesting idea, but also really unfair for me, because my name is Chen, so I have 4 letters in total to work with. So I tried a version using those letters, but basically all I could say was like he and hen. It just didn't go anywhere. So then I remembered how elementary school, middle school, on the class roster for attendance, my name was going to show up. Or would show up as Chen, no middle name, Chen, just N abbreviated. So I decided to take that, so I had some more letters to work with. So this is called Chen, no middle name, Chen. So all the words just come from the letters of the title. Chen, no middle name, Chen. Called Chad, called Homo, called Minnie and Man, called No Man, called Chinaman. Am I a man? Once on a coach, a man called me Anne, claimed I had a nice lawn do and needed a hand. Call me odd, call me mean, I am no calm, clean nod, amen. I am Chen, middle name, oceanic, middle name, alchemic, middle name, moon ode, you'll dance, Dan. So then it became really fun once I had letters to work with. I could generate this whole word bank. And then there ended up actually being these words I ended up using. Like in one version of this, dahlia, like the flower name. That was really fun. It was a complete rearranging the letters. So ultimately, I was glad for the assignment at the end that there was like a week. What the hell am I supposed to write? This next poem. So, yeah, in this new book, there are all these poems that share titles or part of the title. So there are a bunch that are called the School of something. So there's the School of Joy, the School of Logic. And I guess I was thinking, since I was in grad school for like a million years, I was thinking about education, I was thinking about what we learn from all sorts of sources, not just, again, academic settings. So this is called the School of Australia. Your emergency contact is called to quit. Your backup plan is backed away. Your boyfriend has joined a boy band named All Your Former Boyfriends and Sarah McLachlan. In the ugly teapot, uglier luggage section of your local Dillard's, you would like to scream. Meanwhile, your father has decided to pursue his original dream and move to Australia, the brochure version he fell for in college. In Australia, he will study beach studies, and his Western name, Tony, will finally catch on. Tony, the Australians will say, where have they been hiding you? And Tony will say, I never imagined I'd be doing way better than my son. And on his way home from the school of the beach, its shells of endless glitter, Tony will toss out a dog-eared copy of the manual he received upon arriving in America. How to have deeply sorrowful exchanges with your son about your immigrant hardships. How to make him understand you must become a neurosurgeon, or at least a dentist. The manual will go on to a second career titling academic papers. Australia will be renamed Tony's Son, Get Your Shit Together. TSGYST will call to say, but remember, you're already a glittery stretch of dream, your own emergency, Tony. So that poem was based on doing this interview with my dad when I was in college, and I just had never really talked to him about any of the details of like coming to this country, and I was really surprised to learn that he had other ideas. Like I thought that like coming here was the plan all along. And he said, "Yeah, I was also thinking Australia." I was like, "Oh, if I had an Australian accent." I think I'd still be a poet. This next one is very weird. Just wanted to read it. It's called We'll Be Gone After These Brief Messages. God stopped by in his magenta rowboat. I said, God, you have to stop stopping by if you're never going to tell me the meaning of life. God said life is meaningless, while language often means too much. My grandmother stopped by and said, no, the meaning of life is love, the kind that produces children. Why don't you have a girlfriend now? My mother stopped by and said, look, he's busy with his studies. Stop asking. God got back in his turquoise steamship. Life is a joyful thing, he said. It's probably very good for you. So I realized just how many times, like over the years, my mom has said to our relatives, like, he can't date right now, he's busy, he's studying this whole time, like, all this boy trouble. And I guess there was a good excuse for many years because I was in grad school, as I said, for a million years. So she'd be like, he's doing a PhD now, he's doing a master's degree. And I'm like, done, there's more pressure. Yeah, a different stage in life. Okay, so I'm gonna read this one poem. First book. That always makes me hungry when I read it. It's called Poem and Noisy Mouthfuls. Can't stop eating you, movie-style extra butter microwave popcorn. Can't stop watching you, rent a movie about an immigrant family from Lebanon. Can't help but weep, seeing the family wave goodbye to relatives in the Beirut airport. Tear salt mixing with popcorn salt. Can't hide my mess, myself, and the friend beside me. Can't answer this question. Does it remind you of your family, maybe in China? I want to say no, it's completely different, which in many ways it is, but really I'm remembering what a writer friend once said to me. All you write about is being gay or Chinese, but I can't get over that. I wonder if it's true, if everything I write is in some way an immigrant narrative or another unlocked story. I recall a recent poem featuring fishmongers in Seattle, and that makes me happy. Clearly that one isn't about being gay or Chinese. But then I remember a significant number of Chinese immigrants live in Seattle, and how I found several of the Pike Place fishmongers attractive when we visited. So I guess that poem's about being gay and Chinese too. So I say to my friend, I'm not sure, and keep eating the popcorn. Thank God we chose the giant family-sized bag. Can't stop the greasy handfuls, noisy mouthfuls. Can't eat popcorn quietly. Later, during my friend's smoke break, still can't come up with a worthy response to his radical queer critique of homonormativity, of monogamy, domesticity, front lawn glory. These middle-class gays picking out garden rooms, ignoring all the anti-racist work of decolonization that still needs to be done. Don't you think they're lame? They say, yeah, for sure. They think marriage, house, 1 kid, 2 cats, how long have I wanted that? Could I give that up in the name of being a real queer? Probably can't. And it's like another bad habit I can't give up. Eating junk can't, procrastinating can't, picking scabs can't, being friends with people who challenge my beliefs and life plans can't. Reading and believing in Ayn Rand, though, can. Brief phase as a Christian because I like the cross as an accessory, can. WWJD, can. White heterosexist patriarchy, can. America, can. Can't help but think, when we get back to the movie, how it was my father's decision to move here, not my mother's. Just like the parents on screen. Can't stop replaying my mother's walk onto the plane, carrying me. Though I was getting too old for it, holding me, my face pressed into her hair, her neck as she cried quietly. Can't stop returning to this scene of leaving. Can't stop pausing the scene, thinking I've left something out again, something else my mother told me. Like my grandmother at the airport, as she saw my small body so tied to my mother's body, and still she doubted. She had to say, we better not lose him. And my mother kept that promise till she couldn't. She lost me in the new country. But doesn't that happen to all parents and their children, one way or another? And don't we need to get lost? Lost, dizzy, stubbly, warm, stumbling, well, that's what it felt like, 17, kissing a boy for the first time. Can't forget it. Can't forget when my mother found out and said, this would never have happened if we hadn't come to this country. But it would have happened, every bit as dizzy, lost, back in China. It didn't happen because of America, dirty Americans. It was me, my need. My father said, you have to change, but I can't give you up. Boys and heat, scruff and sweet, can't get over you. Trying to get over what my writer friend said. All you write about is being gay or Chinese. Wish I had thought to say to him, all you write about is being white or an asshole. Wish I had said, no, I already write about everything. And everything is salt, noise, struggle, care, carrying, kisses, leaving, death, popcorn, mothers, bad habits, questions. So, just a couple more. So, as I mentioned, I want to read by another Asian American poet. So this is a poem by Jane Wong from her book that just came out this fall that has this amazing cover. It's called How to Not Be Afraid of Everything. The poem is called I Put On My Fur Coat, and it's a persona poem. Actually, it's written in the perspective of your mother. I put on my fur coat and leave a bit of ankle to show. I take off my shoes and make myself comfortable. I defrost a chicken and chew on the bone. In public, I smile as wide as I can, and everyone shields their eyes from my light. At night, I knock down nests off telephone poles and feel no regret. I greet spiders rising from underneath the floorboards, one by one. Hello, hello. Outside, the garden roars with ice. I want to shine as bright as a miner's cap in the dirt dark, to glimmer as if washed in fish scales. Instead, I become a ball and salve, my daughter, my son, the cold mice in the garage. Instead, I take the garbage out at midnight. I move furniture away from the wall to find what we hide. I stand at the center of every room and ask, am I the only animal here? And let me see. Yes. So this next poem is it's dedicated to another writer friend of mine, Jennifer S. Chen. This work I just love. And we've had just some wonderful conversations over the years about introverts and just getting tired very easily by social interaction. So this is part of it. So this is called The School of Your Book / Letter to Jennifer S. Chen. 3 nights your book has held my childhood and nowhood in its peppermint boat, while a great many flutes were played, probably all by Bjork. Not since my last bowl of chilled, honeyed Udon have I felt this care, this so. Welcomed by the brightest, mooniest glow. Hello, haven't seen you in a, no, don't care, guy from high school friends, college years. Out at a housewarming, and all I want is Totoro's cat bus to furball and ferry me back to the pages of 4th night. How could I have forgotten the beautifully rude option of just bringing your book along? Once I brought a book to a boyfriend's friend's birthday new job going away party. Afterward, the boyfriend said, you barely talk to anyone. And I said, not true. You get it. Your book, better than a boyfriend dipped head to toe in honey, gets it. Has me unpiling my coat from the coatsiest pile on the new IKEA daybed I'm done helping warm. Your book, with its waiting boat and sea. Your book, a reminder of how much more night I could wade into. I was going to explain the cat bus from Totoro, but I think maybe some of you already know what that is. From my neighbor Totoro, the Studio Ghibli movie. It's like the best form of transportation. This bus that's cat. It's very like cat-like, or has cat features. Okay, the last poem that I'll read is called Zombie Kindnesses, and this came out of, it was asked to contribute to this anthology of poems that respond to works of art in the Smith College Art Museum, and so this poem appears in this really beautiful anthology. It's like museum quality glossy paper next to the artwork as well. So I was really inspired by this piece, this artist, Sandra Scotland, who's actually an alum of Smith. So it's very fitting. You really need to know the art is. It's kind of apparent in it. Zombie kindnesses. If heterosexuality must continue, let there be cats, glowy green ones, why not? Like alien moss or undead neon, but definitely cat-shaped and capable of appearing anywhere. Say, a living room in which my grandmother sighs again, asks again. Why can't you find a nice girl, have some kids? We're in a classroom, a grad school classroom, where in the middle of a break time conversation about who we're dating, a straight classmate puts his hand on my shoulder and earnestly, almost sweetly wonders, but with your boyfriend, how do you decide who does what during, Let me summon the cats. Let two of them spook my grandmother just enough so that she's more concerned with finding an exorcist than finding me a wife. Let three of them scratch and scratch my straight classmate's hand. Let them leap to my rescue. Let them henceforth be known as my guardian screeches, furred veracities, zombie kindnesses, risen from some unkillable queer soil. And right now, in the stale mouth of my dentist's waiting room, I may require all of them, every green cat. Here, where not only is every magazine's cover story about a heterosexual divorce from 5 years ago, but also, on one otherwise blemishless wall, hangs a portrait that must be new, as I 110% would have remembered it, this framed painting of my dentist, and who else could she be? His wife, the two of them, dressed in sweater vests with little embroidered badminton rackets while holding, what else could they be? Badminton rackets. And they're smiling, like they're the perverts who've just invented dentistry. Yes, I need all of you, all your splendidly obnoxious, scary verdantness. Firstly, because couples' outfits are unacceptable, except on me and my boyfriend. Secondly, because I like badminton, but who enjoys badminton that much? Thirdly, because I beseech you, I have the fanciest of feasts waiting for you. Rise up, and finally become such uncompromising visual artists. Come paint over this beaming monstrosity. Paint instead the glory of my eye roll, my whole body sigh snort, my soul scowl, my profound frown. Thank you. Is there any Q&A, right? Do you have any questions? It's a chat. For sure.
Sure.
Show me.
Is there anyone in the audience who want to ask any questions?
Sure. Hi, my name is, thank you. Hi, my name is Yasmin.
I just saw your tweet.
Yeah, for mutuals. I'm really excited to finally get to meet you. And I wanted to ask, what role do other poets play in your poetry? Because you've written poems about other poets, poems about poems written by other poets. So, you're curious.
Yeah, well, it's a big reason why I got into poetry, is from reading. Reading things I really loved and wanted to. Reading things I really loved and wanting to write back in a way to those poems, those poets that really mattered to me. So that's always it's always about conversation, and more recently, last 10 years really, that's just become more and more important with poets I actually know. In the past, it was just people somewhere and to their work. But now with friends, also writers and poets, there's a literal conversation going on, and that often leads to writing. This is inspired by what they're thinking about, they're obsessed with, and I return to my own subjects, themes, in a renewed way. So yeah, it's been really important. And just mention the organization for D1, which is based in New York City, but they support American writers and literature across the country. And they run this kind of retreats. And I got to go in 2014, and two other times. But so many wonderful friends that I met through retreat and organization, events, and classes that they run. And I'm just so grateful for that space. I remember at 2014, it was the first time I had ever been in a room with all these other books. Why did I just be like that? That's all about it. It was really moving. Chen was there. It was like, you're a legend. And I just remember at one point we were all sitting around in this big circle, and she just looked around at us, the fellows who had come there. And we were sort of all really early in our writing careers. She looked at us, blue eye, just said, "You are the future." What? No pressure, no big deal, but also astonishing. And since it felt kind of like a prophecy, because there's some people from that room that we treat have now they published their first books or their second books, they're involved in film projects, arts, organizing. So that was true. What else?
Hi. How did you first get into poetry? You start writing? Did you always knew that's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I pretty much always loved writing. I think that's because no one was telling me to do it. So it was just like a really fun thing for me to do, just a way to live in my imagination. So since I was very young, since second grade, so far as I can remember, I loved writing stories. I loved just telling stories. And I would group my friends in at recess to listen to a story, or we would like act it out. Basically, it's like kind of bizarre actually that I didn't get into theater, but I guess that was like part of like introverted nature. But I still liked really sharing stories with people. And then eventually, I would handwrite chapters, whole chapters of things, bonkers. And it was really just terrible fan fiction. It was like a mashup of various influences. So it would be like Star Wars meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets something else I was watching. So the world building of it made no sense whatsoever because they would be like sorcerers, but also go to space sometimes, and even like they lived in Venice, and I thought that was a cool city. So I just put whatever I wanted into it. Like an alias too. I've seen that show. Jennifer Garner, one of her earlier TV projects where she plays like a spy. 5 seasons. It's incredible. The show's on Netflix actually. Looking back on it. But I loved all these things. And so again, something I was watching, something I read. It's a hodgepodge of influences. And yeah, just from there, I always knew that writing would be in my life in some form or another. But poetry really, became a bigger thing in high school. And I think part of that was because, well, like the fiction was just having fun and like inventing worlds. A lot of the poetry came from a very personal place. So I think it was an emotional outlet for me. It was a way for me to think about things related to my family, related to community, related to sexuality, things that I didn't quite know how to articulate otherwise. It found its place in poems. And so over time, I still wrote like stories too, but over time became more about poetry, because that's where I think the really important stuff was happening.
talk about like the rewrite process
Yeah.
or just like the genesis of poem for you, in the first place? Would a poem be born out of like a moment of passion, or would it be a constant source of nourishment? If so, how do you keep it sustained?
Bells on this campus. Right away. Actually, what should we do with that? Yeah, source of nourishment definitely is. It just makes me feel more alive. And I don't quite feel like myself when I don't get to write for like a longer period of time. I don't write every day. Set a routine around it. I'm a pretty happy person. Yeah, happens when it happens. But revision specifically, I used to hate it. And I would hate looking at my working best. So I was like, I'm done looking at that now. I'm trying to do it. But also I just, didn't really know how to go about it for a while. So that really changed. Later, like say, starting the last year of college, and really grad school, I just learned a lot more approaches to revising. Some that are like really wacky, like you wrote the whole thing backwards. What are you doing? But it was really good, like opened it up so much. So then I came to see revision as also generative, like it's not so much like, oh, just fix what's already on the page, but it's like continue to explore the worlds of that poem. So once I started to think about it in those terms, I started to feel like the real writing happens in writing, actually. And now I'm like excited for that opportunity. Also just like over time, I think you recognize how bad those drafts were. Which I didn't really care about before anyway, but once I started thinking more about like, oh, the quality of the writing, then it became apparent to me that like, oh, this is like a machine. It's just an outline of what it could be eventually. So a lot of it for me is like, I put something down that it's just like the skeleton of the thing initially. And then I just keep filling it in every time I go back to it. And so it becomes more detailed, more texture, the language gets tightened, so all of that happens. But yeah, it's become just such a process of discovery. I have a question.
So, besides writing poems with 4 letters in total,
Yeah.
what have been some of the biggest obstacles that you have faced as a poet or as a writer?
Every day. I mean, it's like fun as the process can be, it can also be very frustrating. I'd say one of the main things, just as a writer, that can be frustrating is knowing that there is something that I want to write about, but I'm not ready to yet, either emotionally or like on a technical level. I'm not like that place yet. Which I think happens often to every writer probably, where you have this like ambition for what you're going for, but your skills don't kind of allow you to go there yet, or not the way that you want to. So yeah, I feel that way now. I'm starting to work on this next book, third book, of poems, and I feel like just now there are certain subjects I'm able to actually tackle that I've been wanting to, like since before, so like my early poems, but I just couldn't do it, or I did it very clumsily. So that can be a hard thing to recognize, and like, be honest with yourself. But also I think it's better because they're often aligned, like whether you feel emotionally ready, technically ready. And I think just having more space is really helpful. So I'm always like saying to my students, like, don't worry, I know you have this really big, urgent subject that you want to write about, and often you see students when you write about very traumatic experiences. I understand like the urgency behind wanting to articulate that on the page, but on the other hand, like, you can protect yourself. You need to protect your heart, you need to protect your own headspace, so that it doesn't harm you to be writing about this. So yeah, taking time is always
question. Many moons ago, you tweeted something like ideas that many of us are trained to decipher, trying to find the underlying meaning. Just before this started, he was asking me, "Oh, what's the metaphor for the bread and the mouth in my poem?"
what does it mean?
Yeah. And how do we try to find the balance of exploring the technical side, like what's the imagery, what's the poetic devices that the speaker's meant to convey, and how do we just to read the poem and enjoy the poem as it is.
Question. I really believe something that the poet Mary Full has said, which is, she says, I believe that if a poem is giving you pleasure, you understand it. Which I really love that. This was from an interview that she gave, and her follow-up to that was, and if your English teacher gives you shit about it, give them my phone number, and they can call me, and I will say, it's fine. I love the whole answer to that. But the basic principle, I really believe in. And it doesn't mean that like the poem just makes you happy. It's great if that happens. I think of it more largely in terms of if the poem has moved you in some way. The way that when you listen to a song, you don't really have to explain it. You get something from it. A painting or a photograph that moves you. The piece of art. For students. Of course, school, that's not good enough. Explicate them on, etc. I do think there's a place for that kind of analysis. I mean, after all, I teach training programs, so we do get quite technical and analytical about each other's work. But I think we also, there has to be a balance. Okay, so that's something that happens during workshops. Sometimes we're discussing someone's poem, get really, really deep into it. But then it's like, it's literally a deer. It's literally people having a conversation. It's not, it doesn't have to be like something really academic. So I think it's important to remember that too. So I try to bring that into the teaching space as well. So I'm always like, let's read the poem out loud. Let's just listen to it. And I'm often sharing poems with students where I don't really say all that much about it. I just want them to have the experience of it. And maybe they love it, maybe they don't, it's tired that day, focus on it so much, but that's okay. Want to. So I try to have that mindset where it's simple. Maybe not every poem is really for you, and it's fine. There will be others.
We want to respect everyone's time, so this is the last question.
This question is maybe a little bit related, but I guess I'm really curious, you talked about your experience in grad school, you're a teacher now. I guess to what extent would you say that poetry can be learned or improved through institution and academic studies? And to what extent would you find that in the community and your own experiences? Do you think it's positive, negative, in what way?
I definitely think writing can be taught in the profession, I think that. But the same time, yeah, so there's like, I think there are a lot of aspects of it that can be taught about how to talk about technique. We can read a lot together. So much comes from that discussion, that reading, that work reading, and like learning how to read as a writer. Like what can you imitate? Like how did you learn from something ultimately, not just in a derivative way. So it's great to have those kind of conversations and all that. But I think there is a part where, because like ultimately my goal as a teacher, especially at the MFA level, is really choosing to become a writer. Have an undergrad too, but usually there's different goals. But yeah, in the case of an MFA students, the goal is really how can we get your writing to the most idiosyncratic place possible, the most you kind of expression. And so a lot of that has to do with like, identifying what's going on in their work. What are the strengths? Why are those the strengths? What are things that they don't do so well? How do we maximize the strengths, minimize weaknesses, etc. So yeah, there's a whole conversation around that. But I do think some of it, it's not just talent. There are a lot of very talented people. It is, the work that they're putting into it and the kind of commitment to that work. So I think it's a combination of those factors. I would never say, oh, this student has found success, publish it because of me. I don't think that's it. I'm there to support resources, knowledge that they wouldn't have otherwise. But then it is up to them to decide what is the commitment they have to that work, and how do they want to deepen it. Ready to really go there. I just always think of staying on Jean Valentine, passed on. Something she said in an interview, which was, she was asked about, like, what's your taste? She says, as far as that goes, all I really want is the writers who will go to the end of their road purpose. So, furthest, I think, part. If you're really interested in doing that, yes, but there has to be that.
Thank you. Let's give Chen a round of applause. And we have a very intimate conversation on poetry, scholarship, and identity stuff. So, closing remark. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm Kwame Phillips, Associate Director for Multicultural Affairs. And let's give one more round of applause to Chen Chen. And we have some Hopkins goodies for you. Thank you so much. Also, let's thank Ashwin and Frank for participating in today's conversation and for thank you so much. There are a lot of events happening for the APIDA Heritage Celebration. This is one of the kickoff events for it. So I want to kind of give you some announcements around that. Tomorrow is the East Asian Cultural Expo. It's going to be happening in Great Hall, the Art Expo from 1:30 to 3:30, and then following that is the music concert. So if you want to come out for that, it's going to be an amazing experience, and it's sponsored by a number of partners, so it's one of the premier events of the month. The other one is JHU Tasa's Night Market, one of the historical events that have been going around or been coming here to Hopkins every year.
It is April 23rd from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And next week we'll have Kendrick Ross, April 14th. He'll be our keynote speaker for Peter Heritage Celebration, and it'll be in Charles Commons, Salon B. So you want to make sure you come out to all the amazing programs that we have for you. And then finally, everybody's excited for culture show. Everybody want to go to show? Cool. For the first time, we're kicking it off. We're kicking off Spring Fair weekend, and so it starts Thursday, April 28th at 7 p.m. in the Rec Center, right? And Maddie's gonna come and round us off, and she's gonna tell you further things we have planned for the rest of the evening.
We don't have much left, but a survey. So we will appear right now. Please take a second to fill out this survey so we can get a little more information on how to best cater our events to you guys. And then once you've done that, please feel free to head to the back of the room. We have some free food from one of the local restaurants, Zubu. It's on Charles Street. So yeah, that's all we got for you. Thank you guys so much. And we hope to see you at our future events.
I just always also put the QR code.
I love it.
No, I was totally like freaking out. I want to start.